established toll roads in 2003. But it was not the first time that we had toll gates. Yes, it is true that the old toll gates were gates, and these are roads, because in the old days the toll gates were to stop the ex-slaves from working on their own. And they made life hard for them by having toll gates. There were toll gates in Westmoreland, toll gates in Clarendon, Matilda's Corner was a toll gate, Ferry was a toll gate, I believe Flatbridge was a toll gate, and out at Rockfort they had a toll gate. They started them before slavery was abolished for the freed people that were freed before slavery was abolished. But they abolished them in 1859 because they weren't working. The ex-slaves sometimes would ride through the toll roads and even beat up some of the guards. But that is very, very important in our history because it meant that Indians were brought into Jamaica now to work on the sugar estates. And when they could not do the work as well as the ex-slaves, they went to bananas, and out of the banana trade came our tourism industry. So that is why this is so very important. And, you know, in 2003, I wrote a song about it to the tune of, maybe most Jamaicans don't know these type of tunes. It comes out of an opera called The Mikado. I've got a little list. So I made it to that tune. It's really not the first that there are toll roads in island Jamaica. A toll road highway opened up in year 2003. It's really not the first, because there were toll roads during right and after slavery. It's really not the first. The ex-slaves turned peasants farmed on hillsides on their own as they left sugar estates and the owners all alone. And when they couldn't get them to return to the estates, colonial English government set up some more toll gates. Also mule tax and cartwheel tax and market fees are cursed. It's really not the first. La 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 la. When toll roads didn't force the peasants back on the estates, it's really not the first. Indian indentured laborers cut cane at lowly rates. It's really not the first. They also got Chinese who dug the Panama Canal, but Chinese didn't cut the cane who couldn't take conditions there, hunger. They also got Chinese who dug the Panama Canal, who couldn't take conditions there, illness, hunger, et al. But Chinese didn't cut the cane. They set up grocery shops. Sugar then started to decline to very tiny drops. These history facts I really hope do not cause you to burst. It's really not the first. Tra-la-la-la-la-la, tra-la-la-la-la-la, tra-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. With workers very few to cut the grassy sugar cane. It's really not the first. The owners thought of new ideas and some of them were sane. It's really not the first. Planting bananas and plantains need fewer workers' hands and can be cultivated on both flat and hilly lands. Originating in China, banana was unique, exported from there to the Caribbean island Martinique. From Martinique to Jamaica, banana to be nursed. It's really not the first. Tra-la-la-la-la-la, tra-la-la-la-la-la, tra-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. To England and America, bananas were then sold. It's really not the first. American boat captain had an idea, we are told. It's really not the first. Why not also carry tourists on his banana boat and make more shipping profit as he sailed with all afloat? And this is how Jamaica started its own tourist trade, the sun and sea and beauty which God naturally made in land of wood and water where no one should really thirst. It's really not the first. Tra-la-la-la-la-la, tra-la-la-la-la-la, tra-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. Suppose the toll roads forced the ex-slaves back on the estates. It's really not the first. Suppose the peasants didn't riot at the old toll gates.
It's really not the first. It's really not the first. The Chinese and the Indians who have added to our mix would not be part of us, which would have put us in a fix. Banana plants would not have come, which brought more profit here, and tourist trade would not have brought exchange that we all share. That's why to this old tune, a history poet now has versed. It's really not the first. It's really not the first. Tra-la-la-la-la-la, tra-la-la-la-la-la, tra-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. I hope you learned something from it. My name is Michael Burke. Good day.